Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here. I get this question a lot about hormones and birth control. How does this work? How does this impact my body? Because there are a lot of different types of birth control. So I wanted to do just a general overview of birth control's impact typically on the female body. A lot of times we're talking about oral contraceptives, the birth control pill, taking it orally. Understand that anytime you take some type of birth control, and this is also totally up to you, whatever works for you, your lifestyle, what you're looking for, that type of a thing. There's a lot of different stuff out there, but realize that anything that has a hormone in it will travel everywhere in your body, and you can have systemic side effects from that. Meaning, you can have side effects head to toe from that, whether it be birth control pill of any kind, the ring, an implant, Mirena, some type of hormonal IUD. All of these things actually will go everywhere in your body. So for some women, they're like, oh, I gain weight, I have trouble losing weight, I get brain fog, I get all these other symptoms from birth control. Maybe if I switch to this other birth control, it won't be like that. But if it's a hormonal one, then it will, because those hormones go everywhere in the body, right? They pass the blood-brain barrier, so it can have that kind of systemic everywhere effect. Now, different hormone birth controls, things are made differently. This is not about, I don't want to make this about birth control types necessarily, but some are more of a progesterone pill, some are more of an estrogen pill, things like that. In general, when you are on some type of hormonal birth control, that being said, the one thing I did want to say is that if it's not hormonal, the copper IUD, that's not hormonal. So that's one, sometimes women are like, what's a non-hormonal form of birth control besides like condoms and diaphragms and all that other stuff? Barrier methods, we'll say. The copper IUD, copper is not hormonal. So when we're looking at hormonal impact, when you're taking some type of exogenous hormone, right? Something else is impacting your hormones. It's going to shift and change the hormones internally. And it depends on what you're taking, all that other stuff. But this is a general overview. I'm saying this a lot because sometimes I get questions from people like, well, what about this? And I'm like, listen, I just want to give you kind of a big picture view of what's happening with your body and why when you stop or shift or change something that it can impact your entire system totally differently. This is your normal hormonal cycle. Day 1 is the first day of your period. Day 14 is about when you ovulate. Day 28 is when that ends. Estrogen is dominant here in the first part. Progesterone dominant here in the second part. When you are on a hormonal birth control, here is what it can look like. I'll just draw right over it. And then like this. Kind of even keel, not that ebb and flow necessarily. So I recommend for a lot of women following still eating for your hormones in your cycle, doing seed cycling, that type of a thing. It can really help with your body's natural patterning of hormones and the way it naturally should be so that you feel better when you're on some type of pill. A lot of women notice improvements in any PMS symptoms or other things that they may have because they're still honoring how your system works. So it's not exact, right? But understand that a lot of the hormones that you're having are dampened. They're not going through the natural function that they do. If you want more in-depth information on this, I'm going to put this in the comments right now, a link to join the 12-week waitlist. There's a ton of info there. There's waitlist for my 12-week challenge, ton of information, ton more to learn about for your body, your hormones, your cycle. This is where a lot of women get stuck. This is where a lot of women struggle and just can't seem to work themselves out of it. Not because you're not trying, but because you're going down a path that isn't meant for you. Other resources I have, I just want to mention podcasts, The Female Health Solution, my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Beth Westy, a ton of free videos, a ton of free podcasts. All those things are out there I make for you just in case you're, wondering how to do that. I have a book, The Female Fat Solution, and then The Female Menopause Solution. These are on Amazon. And then, I just have a ton of stuff out there. I'm on my website too. I have a ton of information on my website that you can look for different things that might be a good fit for you if you're wondering how this is going to impact my body, my health, that type of a thing. realize that oftentimes when you are on some type of hormonal birth control, you're actually not ovulating. Your body's not going through that ebb and flow, so you're actually not ovulating. So if you come off of that and you want to try to get pregnant, you have to go through some steps, some kickstart your fertility, kickstart your body's, to really start ovulating and honoring that whole cycle that it isn't doing when it's on some type of hormonal birth control. I have an entire program for fertility for women that have been on birth control and are looking to restart their hormones and get their body synced up naturally. So using whole foods, supplements if you need them. That's why I consult with people specifically, because everybody's different, right? What you've been through is different. If you've been on certain medications, if you've had certain traumas or history things going on, I need to know about it so I can make the best recommendations for you moving forward from there. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, yes, without getting into too specific details about, because there's so many different types of birth control out there and they keep changing all the time. Your body does change. It does still have some estrogen and progesterone. It's just sort of muted like that, but you can still do a lot to work with your body and hormones with your food and your nutrition.